In my recent review of The Glass Menagerie, I started out by talking about the basic conventions of theater, the agreements between presenters and the audience that define what's going on during a performance. As fundamental as these conventions are, we don't need to read them anywhere. In fact, we can't read them anywhere because they're not written down. And when you try to start specifying these agreements, you will soon find yourself disagreeing about what they are. Perhaps the most basic convention of theater is that presenters perform and the audience watches and listens. Even this convention has exceptions, however. Audience participation dinner theater at the Lemp and Bissell Mansions is on nearly every one of our calendars. The Lemp Mansion is currently the site of another experiment that invites unconventional participation from the audience, or rather, requires such participation, because without it, there wouldn't be much of a show. I'm referring to Broken Bone Bathtub, devised and performed in a bathtub by Siobhan O'Loughlin. She has done the piece all over the world, but never before with an audience as large as the one in the palatial bathroom at the Lemp Mansion. In spite of the setting, do not expect to see intimate parts. If O'Loughlin nursed a drink the way she husbands the bubbles in her tub, she would be the bane of bartenders everywhere. Expect to hear intimate stories, however, and not just from O'Loughlin. Her own story is about a bicycle accident that led to a serious hand injury. It has long since healed, but she still uses the ornately decorated cast from the incident as a prop. She had a hard time keeping the cast dry while bathing because her Brooklyn apartment had a shower, not a tub. She asked friends to help her with this problem by letting her use their tubs and help her wash her back and hair to compensate for the hand she couldn't get wet. During her show, O'Loughlin asked for the same assistance from members of the audience as well as for a hand massage. If these requests would make you uncomfortable, don't sit by the bathtub. Don't sit where O'Loughlin can see you if you don't want to answer personal questions. O'Loughlin is a gentle but probing interrogator. Most of the audience at the press preview I attended responded with surprising candor and enthusiasm. She pressed a little when responses were not forthcoming, but she knew when to stop. For me, some of the evening's most memorable contributions came from the audience. I'm sure O'Loughlin would be delighted to hear this, because what sets her show apart is eliciting responses from the audience. Its willingness to participate is due in large part to the warmth of the persona O'Loughlin creates with the naturalness of her delivery. Nothing she says sounds prescripted. By now you should know whether the audience participation in the show appeals to you. If it doesn't, that's fine. When performers push the limits of conventions, you don't have to go along. But if you don't, you might miss something special. Broken Bone Bathtub runs through the end of June on Fridays through Sundays at the Lemp Mansion and on Thursdays in private homes. The more expensive Lemp performances include hors d'oeuvres before and desserts after. For Lemp reservations, call the number on the screen. For Thursday reservations, send an email to the address on the screen.
Yeah, very nicely done, but I didn't find it all quite as interesting as you did, I'm afraid.
Well, you don't have to go along, like I said.
All right.
Hey, thanks for watching. Click here to subscribe and check us out on Facebook. The link is below.